Hey guys, it's Danielle. Welcome back to my channel, D Crochet. So today I wanted to show you how to do the wrapped double crochet. So there's a pattern that's like number one, or it was number one as of this afternoon on the Ravelry app for crochet, and it is called the Perfect Pockets Shawl. And I bought a copy of it a few weeks ago and I started making it, and I realized that the tutorials that I was finding for the wrapped double crochet stitch, which is something that it's called for on this shawl pattern, I wasn't really finding any that were descriptive, so I figured that I would make one and hopefully it would help those of you who are either making the shawl or for those who are just looking for a new stitch to learn. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and I'm just going by the chains in the pattern. Also, I've seen this done with 2 double crochets in a row, and then I've seen it done with just 1. So I mean, obviously this isn't the only way to do it, but I just want to try to be as descriptive as possible. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I have a chain of 13 on my hook, and I'm going to go into the 3rd chain from hook. And the reason I'm going into the 3rd chain from hook instead of the 4th chain from hook like we normally would with a double crochet is because with the pattern, when you're chaining up, it only to the next row, it only says to chain up 2. So I'm going into the 3rd chain from hook, and I'm going to do just a regular double crochet. So right now what's on my hook is just a yarn over. So I have 2 loops on hook. The working loop never counts, and then I have a yarn over. And then I'm going into the left leg of the V that is formed by this chain. I have a double crochet tutorial too that y'all can check out if you want to hear/see a slower version of this. But for this purpose, I'm gonna go a little bit faster. So I did my double crochet. All right, so this is where it gets different. So you would yarn over, and now typically you would go into the next V. So my work is facing 9 o'clock, so that means my slip knot is facing 9 o'clock. I am a right-handed crocheter, and the chains feel like a printed letter V, okay? But so the legs of the V, if your work were standing straight up and down, you would be able to feel that these V's are standing vertically. But because my work is turned to the side, like it normally is in crochet, the V's are sideways. So the uppermost leg of this V is where I would normally go. But because we're wrapping it, you're literally wrapping this double crochet around the first one we made. So I've got a yarn over on my hook. So right now what's on my hook is the working loop, which doesn't count, and then I have a yarn over on my hook, okay? What I'm gonna do is, instead of going into this next chain, I'm going to put my thumb between the chain 2 from the beginning and this double crochet I just made, and I'm gonna put my thumb between them, and then I'm gonna go into that hole that my thumb is creating. And so what I'm doing is going in with the head of the hook. So I'm going in from the front of the work to the back of the work, just like you would with a front post double crochet. So now what's on my hook is the working loop, the first yarn over I did, and then the body or the post of this double crochet that we just made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull through 2, right? So I pulled through the body of the hook, and then I pulled through the first yarn over I did. So now it feels like I have 3 loops on my hook, just like it would with a normal double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over again. I'm going to pull through those 3. Okay, and then now I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over one last time and pull through. So you're finishing this just like you would finish a regular double crochet. It's just that you're wrapping it around the body of the first double crochet. So they're hugging. All right, so let's do that again. All right, so in the pattern that I'm working, and then also in the tutorials that I saw on this stitch, you would skip a chain. So we're going to skip the next chain, and then we're going to go under that uppermost leg. So, and we're going to just make the double crochet. So I've got 3 on my hook right now. I've got the working loop, I've got the first yarn over I did, and then the leg of the V. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now I've got 3 loops on hook. Yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, pull through the last 2. Okay, just like, you know, just a normal double crochet. But now we're going to do the wrapped part of it, okay? So you're going to wrap your, or yarn over. Now you've got 2 loops on hook. Now instead of going into the next V like you would if you were just doing a row of double crochets, you're gonna go from front to back. So putting the head of your hook in, and actually once you've done the first wrapped on once you've done the first wrapped double crochet on the row, it gets a little bit easier to find where you're going to put your hook for the next one, because you have that space that where you skipped the chain. So you're going to put your hook in from front to back. And so what I mean when I'm saying from front to back, I'm to be descriptive. Right now, the bottom of my hook is facing the desk, okay? So what I'm going to do is and it's facing 9 o'clock. It's facing the same direction as my work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point my head of my hook down to about 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to push it into that space between the first wrapped stitch that we did and this double crochet that we're working around right now. And then when I put it between them, I'm going to push it around. So like the neck of the crochet hook is pushing that double crochet forward, and it's back to 9 o'clock. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap again. So what's on my hook right now is the working loop, the first yarn over, the body or the post of that double crochet, and then another yarn over. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull through 2, and now I have 3 left on hook. Yarn over, pull through 3, just like you would with a regular double crochet. Okay? And then yarn over one last time and pull through the last 3 that are on your hook. Just like you, so you finish it just like a regular double crochet. So let's do this one more time. And actually I'm going to do it a couple times because I want to show you how to do this on the next row that's not your foundation row. So I'm finishing up the first double crochet, and so these count as 2 stitches, okay? Even though it ends up feeling like 1, it counts as 2 because you are doing technically 2 double crochets. So I've skipped another chain and I've done a double crochet. I'm yarning over. My hook is right now pointed at 9 o'clock. I'm going to point it to 6 o'clock, go into that space between the last wrapped stitch and then this double crochet we're doing right now, that we're working around right now. I'm pushing the body of that double crochet stitch forward with the neck of my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, there's 2 left on hook, yarn over, pull through the last 3. Okay, and that's your wrapped double crochet. Alrighty, so now we've skipped the chain, double crochet, yarn over, go behind that post, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull 3, whoops. And sometimes, like, this took me a little while to get it because I was wanting to drop more loops off of my hook than I should have, and so it took a little practice, but I got it. Okay, just pulling a little bit more yarn here. Yarning over. Skipping a chain, and then I'm working a regular double crochet to the next chain, yarning over, going around the body, yarning over, pulling through. Yikes. Okay, I'm starting the wrapped piece again. So my tail got in the way of my stitch. My bad. Okay. All right. So we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk through it one last time. So I'm at the very last chain here. Right. So I'm gonna do my double crochet per usual. Okay. Now I'm going to yarn over, go around the body of that double crochet, yarn over, pull back around the body of the post. All right, so I'm going to start this piece back over because I might not have been as descriptive a little while ago. All right, so I've got a yarn over on my hook and I've got this double crochet made. I'm going to do the thing where I go from 9 to 6. There's that going like Eastern to Pacific. Yeah. Go back behind the body of the double crochet and we're back at 9 o'clock, right? So you want to yarn over and then bring your hook back through that gap between the last stitch that we made in the double crochet we're working around right now. You should have 3 loops on hook. Yarn over. Now you'll have 4 loops on hook. Pull through 3. And try not to drop your stitches off your hook like I just did, but that's okay. Practice makes perfect. All right, so we've got the yarn over back on the hook. So I dropped that whole thing that I was doing because it was falling off my hook. All right, we're going behind the body of the double crochet, and then we're bringing it back through that gap between the previous wrapped stitch and this one. So we've got 3 loops on hook now. We're going to yarn over, and that's going to make us 4 loops on hook. Then you would pull through 3. So then you've got 2 loops left on hook, yarn over. Now you're back up to 3 loops on hook, and then you're going to pull through everything, and that is, you're finishing it just like a double crochet. Now, okay. So then, oh, I have one more chain left. Okay, good. So, oops. And this is the chain right next to the slip knot, which always gives me trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna double crochet just once, just to finish this row. Okay, and then I'm gonna chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm gonna turn my work. Remember, we turn like a book. Okay, now in this, at the beginning of this next row, we're going to just do a regular double crochet into the double crochet beneath it, just like you would normally with a, with a row of double crochets. Okay, so that's done. Now, here's where it can get a little tricky. So your instinct would be, so if you feel, your instinct would be to go into the regular double crochet that we made. But for this perfect pockets shawl pattern, and then I think the way that I saw it on the tutorials as well, instead of going into the double crochet, the regular one, you want to make sure to go into the wrapped piece of the double crochet that we did. So what it feels like, what each one of these feels like, it feels like a huge capital letter V, a printed letter V, or an upside down triangle, or a pizza slice, or whatever you need to, however you need to think of it. The very top of that pizza slice is going to be the top part / the V of the original double crochet that we did, the regular double crochet that we did. But so I have yarn over ready on my hook. Okay, so right now I have 2 loops on my hook, just the working loop and the yarn over. But instead of going in here into the very top of that triangle, the upside down triangle, which feels very natural, you want to go in under the V that kind of sticks off of the left side of it. Okay, so instead of going under the top of that triangle, right, so you would go under the 2 loops up here, but just like you would with a regular stitch in any row, right? But you don't want to go in there. You want to go into the little, what is it? Feels kind of like a little tab. That's not the right way to explain it, but it's it feels like the top of a stitch. It almost feels like a single crochet actually. So you want to go into that stitch right next to that triangle, and it's to the left of it. If you're right-handed, it is to the left of it. You want to go under there. And a better way to think of it is it's going to be the stitch that's right directly above the gap in the row below. So I'm finding my gap, and then I'm going to double crochet into that gap, into this top of the stitch that's right above that gap in the row below. Okay? And then I'm going to yarn over, and then I'm going to do another wrapped double. Okay. And then I'm going to feel, so directly next to that is going to be the big capital V / upside down triangle thing, right? So we don't want to mess with anything in there, but there's this gap to the left of it, and at the top of that gap there's going to be what feels kind of like a single crochet or a chain. It's going to be essentially the top of a stitch, right? Because it technically is. It's the top of that wrapped stitch. So just feel for your gap, and then follow your gap all the way up, and you will touch the top of the stitch, even though the bottom of it is wrapped around it makes up part of the triangle. The top of that stitch is sticking up over that gap. And you want to start with a regular double crochet in there. Then you want to switch time zones. So you're going from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock through that gap between the last wrapped stitch and this one that we're working around. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, now yarn over, and we will skip the triangle, but work into that next, to the little tabby thing. I want to call it a tab, but it's not a tab. Okay, regular double crochet, and then we're gonna do a wrapped double. Okay, we'll do it one more time. So yarn over, skip the triangle, but you want to go into the top of the stitch that is at the top of your gap. Regular double crochet. I'm just grabbing more yarn here. My yarn is sliding all over the table. Alright, so then we're going to yarn over, go behind the body of that double, yarn over, pull back through that gap. We've got 3 loops on hook, yarn over, you've got 4 loops on hook now. And then you want to pull through, so now you're left with 2 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay? Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry if I didn't explain it clearly. As always, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions on it, but I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I look forward to coming back with a new video soon. Have a great night, guys.
Pink text on a black background that says contact me. Instagram @dmadecrochet. Email dmadecrochet@gmail.com. A logo appears. A hot pink ball of yarn on a black background. 2 pink crochet hooks are crossed in the middle of it, above the words DMade Crochet.